Yo, how's it going, YouTube? It's Will Miles here. Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and welcome back to Call of Duty Black Ops 7. So, before I actually start posting my experience with the full release of the game, I really just needed to talk about the differences between the beta and the actual release, because I'm not gonna lie, I was giving a complete hate show on this game when I played the beta, mainly because when you were sliding and diving and stuff like that, there was this bullshit hip fire like tactical stance mechanism that I thought completely broke movement. I really wasn't a fan of the perk system, and aim assist was really weird in the beta, but you know, then we all figured out that it was just a quick little setting switch. So it honestly worked out pretty fine. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, basically a lot of people in COD Black Ops 7 right now are lowering their aim assist sensitivity from 1.0 down to like 0.9 or 0.85 or 0.8. I've even seen some people do. The standard aim assist rates are just way too high in this game, and I think they did that because in Black Ops 6, heads were literally just... I don't even need to explain it to you guys. If you played BO6, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That game was absolutely cancerous on so many levels. I'll remember it on a positive note, just because it was like the first decent Call of Duty that I've played since maybe 2016. And honestly, hot take, it's a better COD than Infinite Warfare, just mainly because Infinite Warfare was literally like... Infinite Warfare felt like it was developed by the creators of fucking Titanfall. Like, when I played Infinite Warfare, I genuinely thought I was playing Titanfall. So that's my first problem about that game. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the fucking BO7 beta. So let's fucking talk about that shit. Holy, what a crazy movement play there by me. And as you can see, aim assist, non-existent. Anyway, so the main differences that I want to talk about between the beta and the actual game itself, honestly, first and foremost, I gotta talk about gunplay. I think gunplay was definitely very similar in the beta from the full release, but... a lot of guns like the M8A7 or the I don't even know what it's called this year. It's called the M8A1. It's been called a couple other gun names, but I'm pretty sure it's the M8A1 in BO7. That gun was honestly pretty decent in the beta. It ripped pretty well. I didn't think there was that much of a bullet drop-off from long range, but in the actual release of the game, it is entirely different, and it's really fucking hard to use that gun. I'm not gonna lie, unless you're on like a really big map, like, I don't remember the Alaska map, the name of that map, that's Mason's house, but if you're on any other map that's like decently sized, medium sized, honestly, I don't really see anybody using anything else besides the Dravik 4.5, which is what I'm using in this gameplay, and probably most of my gameplays, to be honest with you, because like I said, I think in a previous video, I'm not sure if I mentioned this on YouTube, but I've been talking to everyone I know that plays Call of Duty, and everyone that just knows Call of Duty in general about this topic. The Dravik 4.5, in my opinion, is the most similar weapon to the Honey Badger from Call of Duty Ghost in 2013 that I've ever seen, since COD Ghost, since the actual release of the Honey Badger. And I'm a very big Honey Badger fan because Call of Duty Ghosts in general, the guns really did not have recoil, and that's why it's one of my favorite CODs of all time, even though the maps were way too big. It's mainly because of the fact that the recoil on the guns were so accurate and realistic. And what I mean by that is there was really no gun in that game that if you shot and held down the trigger and didn't use your right thumbstick to like adjust the recoil and stuff, there really wasn't a single gun in that game that would just fire up in a straight line towards the sky, you know what I mean? And honestly, Call of Duty nowadays, most of these stock weapons, especially the goddamn Peacekeeper in this game, my god, in the beta, I thought I was tripping with how bad the Peacekeeper's recoil was and how different it felt from the original Peacekeeper from Black Ops 2, let alone the DLC Peacekeeper, the supply drop Black Market exclusive Peacekeeper from BO3. I mean, both of those guns, if you guys played those games back in the day like I did, and, you know, you had the BO3 supply drop Peacekeeper Mark II, you know what I'm talking about. Those guns did not have recoil from the jump. They were some of the most balanced assault rifles in the game, and with rapid fire, you could even double it as an SMG. But not in the Black Ops 7 beta, and honestly, I was really hoping that they would change that and carry forward into the actual game and make it a better gun. but they never really did that, and I'm highly disappointed because I don't think I will be playing with the Peacekeeper this year, and that's so fucking weird because the Peacekeeper is literally a staple of the Black Ops franchise, which is why I'm talking about it right now on top of the M8A1, because that is literally a Black Ops 2 masterclass weapon. That is definitely a top 3, not SMG, AR in my opinion, might even be top 2. Actually, that's not true. The top 2 ARs, in my opinion, from Black Ops 2. Number 1 would have to be the M27, and number 2 would have to be the Scar H. And the M27 in Black Ops 7 is the M15 Mod Q, or the Mod 0, or the Mod D. I don't even know what it's called. That gun is honestly really solid. I really fuck with it. And then the Scar is obviously the MXR-17. That gun is also just an amazing modern remake of the Scar. Honestly, one of the greatest guns of all time. It was OP in COD back in the day. It was OP in Fortnite in its heyday. It's just like a great gun to have. So any game that has a Scar that actually works like a real Scar, which means like a 3-hit kill from pretty much any area on the body, I'll take it. But like I said, some of the main issues with the beta that I had definitely on this map right here, it was exposure. Like, the water tower peaks and the head peaks were just way too fucking overpowered. And I don't know why Call of Duty loves their head peaks and loves to support motherfuckers that like to just sit there with a 4x scope and like mount their gun on a fucking like wall or a box or some shit or a fucking crate, and you literally cannot see them because they are so head glitched, bro. Like, playing on 120 FOV, it's almost impossible to see someone's tiny ass head when they're behind a car and all you can see is above their neck. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm very, very upset that Black Ops 7 didn't do something about that. But for like, I mean, honestly, I kind of thought going into this video that I would be able to talk about more things that differentiated between the beta and the full release. But to be completely honest, there really aren't that many differences between the two. I would say movement speed, I was using Tac Sprinter for most of the beta because I was obviously very used to Black Ops 6 movement. And Black Ops 7, in my honest opinion, like, don't yell at me for saying this, I've been playing COD since 2011. It's pretty clearly a substantially big improvement to Black Ops 6, but the game doesn't look nor feel different enough for me to really consider it a different game. It's the same engine, you know, gunplay in terms of, you know, when people are firing and you're turning corners with Omni movement, it all feels the same, and I know it technically should because it's still a Black Ops title, but my big issue with the movement in this game is with Tac Sprinter on, I noticed myself just running around the map too quickly to the point where people were spotting me. Like, I was running into enemy spawn points too fast and not really knowing what I was doing because I'm used to, in Black Ops 6, because the game was so dysfunctional and didn't actually have 3-lane maps, I would just fucking circle the map looking for bunches of people with a silencer on and just do my thing. And during the beta, I thought I could kind of capture that same feeling with Black Ops 7, but you really can't play Black Ops 7 the way you play Black Ops 6. They're just, like, at the core, different games. And that's something that I thought was very not true during the beta, which is, I kind of guess why I brought that up, because during the beta, I was really convinced that Black Ops 7 was just an update to Black Ops 6. Meaning, like, I just really couldn't see where Black Ops 6 ended and where Black Ops 7 begins. Now, I'm not really someone who's going to nitpick the menu, but when the menu looks identical to the previous game, they just change the font and the pictures and the layout of everything. When everything's in the exact same spot, when everything has the exact same, you know, identity and placement as the last game, it kind of makes it impossible to look at the game and be like, okay, this is different. Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3 were so different, even though they were 3 years apart. Even the menus were substantially different. Like, they were different games off the rip when you load in. And that's something that I didn't notice about Black Ops 7 in the beta. But as the game fully released, yes, I did the New Zealand method. I actually went there and bought a 12-hour hotel room just to play Black Ops 7 for the day, and then I teleported back home to America at 12 a.m. to play the full release. So let me know if you guys ended up doing that as well. But during the full release, I really did see the impact and how different and how much bigger and better this game is compared to the beta. I think the map selection in the beta was a little poor. I really think that they could have given us more than 5 maps. I think it was 4 maps. Like on the first day of the beta, there were 3 maps on the first day of early access, and that just really pissed me off because as someone that was going to sit there and play, like when I do a playthrough, it's usually 3 hours. It's at least an hour and a half. It's at least like 90 minutes, right? And for those 90 minutes, do I want to be playing the same maps over and over, like back to back to back Forge maps on different game modes? Not really. Because the reason why I don't like Warzone is simply because the map is the same every time and it just gets repetitive after 45 minutes, especially because of how fucking sweaty this shit is. But also, a big thing I didn't mention was skill-based matchmaking. In the first couple of days of the open beta, skill-based matchmaking was the only available mode. And during that time period, which, like, adding on to the fact that the menus and other things kind of looked identical to BO6 in terms of placement, just they changed the coloring and fonts. By the way, fuck you to anyone that shoots at players that are standing still in a multiplayer game. Like, I'm obviously not using my controller right now. I'm doing something else. So why the fuck do you think you can get a free kill on me? Like, are you actually that much of a fucking 3 IQ troglodyte to the point where you need to fucking take out a person that's not even using my controller wasn't even in my hand? You know what I mean? Like, how bad do you need to be? How fucking desperate are you? But skill-based matchmaking for the first couple days of the open beta, if I do remember correctly, was like the only available mode until they got the feedback, the backlash, especially with Battlefield 6 coming out around the same time, and people saying, wow, Battlefield 6 looks night and day compared to Black Ops 7, like I can't believe anyone's falling for the skill-based matchmaking bullshit. And I mean, Blame Truth on YouTube called them out a lot for that shit as well. I think Call of Duty just finally understood that, like, they're not gonna get what they want in terms of the skill-based matchmaking, excuse me. And I'm definitely glad that it's not the core game mode or core setting for the normal game modes anymore, because for the first couple of days, I was just like so fed up with it. I could not find a way to excel in gameplay, even with the addition of wall jumping, because people were still running around in pairs of 2. People were still disrespecting one another, like disrespecting me and my teammates every game with head glitches, camping in the most obscure spots. And when you're playing with skill-based matchmaking, bro, it's the same fucking thing every game with different players, and it felt lonely because, you know, we were getting kicked out every lobby, like every game we were getting kicked out, and it just, like, it didn't exactly capture the feelings I wanted to have captured when I watched the trailer for Black Ops 7, so it definitely ruined my hype playing the beta. But then I played the full release, the multiplayer, and I was like, holy shit, this is the best multiplayer I've seen out of Call of Duty since probably 2016. Besides World War II. World War II, like any of those simple World War II style Call of Duty games, I mean, it was literally in the title. It's a simple World War II aesthetic video game, Call of Duty style. That is what makes COD popular. That was like literally the first 3-4 COD titles: Call of Duty United Offensive, Call of Duty 2, and then Call of Duty 3. Those were all based off of World War II and basically the same sort of environment and vibes. And that's basically what got COD famous enough for them to release COD 4. And then after that, in 2008, they released World at War, which is basically like a mixture of all of the first 3 to 4 COD releases before Modern Warfare. You know what I mean? And that was like the jump for them in terms of their World War II shooters. But World War II, I think, did a great job modernizing that feeling of, you know, playing that sort of gritty World War II style COD game with next-gen consoles. At the time in 2017, the PS4 and Xbox One were the next-gen consoles. But like I said, skill-based matchmaking was definitely such an issue in the beta. I know everybody was pretty much just fed up with it. It's just because, like I said, tack sprinting is still in the game, even though it's a perk. People still use it. And for me, at least, since I was using tack sprinting with skill-based matchmaking, it made it really hard to run around the map at all, and I just felt like using tack sprinter was a waste of a perk slot because it didn't matter how fast I could run. Every corner I ran, every time I like turn a corner or every time I enter a doorway, there's just 2 people there, And every time I killed a guy on my right, there's automatically a guy on my left. There's a guy coming in from behind. There's a guy coming in from the side. So a pause, first of all. And I don't know if you guys saw literally like 30 seconds ago how I was sliding, and instead of, firing with my scope in my hand, like the reticle on like zooming in, it was a little like gangster style like sideways shot. And that is something that I really just like could not stand in the beta. I'm just so glad they removed it. I know I mentioned that already, but there was literally like firsthand proof of how cancerous that shit was with that play right there. But yeah, I definitely think that in terms of skill-based matchmaking, removing it was obviously the way to go, because the first couple of days of Black Ops 7, even though, yeah, there have been some moments where like I get shit on for a game, and or 2 games or 3 games, it's happened over the last couple of days. I've been playing with my friend Marcus, and we have been getting trampled in certain situations. It's fucking happened, like shit's not necessarily sweet all the time. Sometimes it's fucking sour. But with no skill-based matchmaking and persistent lobbies, I mean, this really does feel like Call of Duty. So at the end of the day, they did something right, and I know it's fucking, popular to hate on COD right now, but another thing, I'll mention this. There were no camos in the beta, and now that the full game is out, my god, the camo selection is beautiful. I'm so proud that Treyarch decided not to try to sell us out and make more money by selling us the same old camo bundles. Probably, if they were to sell them again, they'd be at an increased price. So if you want to buy Party Rock camo on Black Ops 7, instead of paying $1.99, you're probably paying $9.99 at least. So thank God they didn't do that, and the way you unlock those camos is by prestiging your weapon. That wasn't obviously a thing in the beta, and it is a thing in the main game, which is really, really cool. I didn't even know you could do that. I think I saw it in like the notes somewhere, but I really didn't read the fucking notes for the details on Black Ops 7. I was like, listen, this game's either going to be the sequel to Black Ops 2 that we were promised with Black Ops 3 that we never got, because BO3's campaign took place in 2060 something, like 2067 or 2070. Just had nothing to do with the storyline at all. Shout out Christopher Maloney. That's my boy Dante's dad. He played the main villain in that game. Like, I literally went to high school with a kid whose dad is the villain in Call of Duty. Corvus. He's literally Corvus, and I think that's so fucking cool. I just had to put that in this video. I make myself laugh till I cough. Holy shit. But yeah, I mean, good job, Activision, for like finally redeeming yourself for once. Because I was honestly convinced that Call of Duty just didn't have it in them to make an acceptable video game anymore. They try so hard to be like Fortnite and other games, when at the end of the day, what makes them popular, like, they never had to look for it in the first place, because they did it themselves by just making good COD games back in the day. They don't need to take any ideas from anyone else, because they already have the sauce within their own algorithm, within their own math. Like, they've already done it time and time again. They can do it again. And with Black Ops 7's actual full release, they've proved that, yes, they can do it again. They can do correct things. Now, I will make a video pretty soon on how awful the Black Ops 7 campaign is. I'm not even going to, like, try to acknowledge that it's real, because if I do, the more I acknowledge that it's a real campaign, the more depressed and sad I feel. But in terms of the multiplayer, Call of Duty multiplayer is in a good spot. And compared to the beta, it is night and fucking day. Now, I'm going to post a part 2 to talk about more about what I noticed in the beta versus the full release. But make sure you guys smash the like button and subscribe to the channel for more content. Thank you so much for watching this video. Sorry for no face cam. And yeah, I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.